Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up here in the UK. Thank you for joining me and giving up your time. I'm here to share with you a fresh idea, some inspiration for your paper crafting projects, and just generally get excited about crafting. The make that I've got today I love. It doesn't use too much of your stash. I like to get the best value out of what we buy. I love Stampin' Up products, so I predominantly use them. That's why I'm a demonstrator as well, because I just love it. The community of crafters as well is just amazing. Everybody shares, everybody's always helpful. There's just such a lovely family feel about it. So if you're looking for something a little bit extra in your life, just jump on board. If you're in the UK, you can always join my team. If you're elsewhere in the world, just look up your nearest demonstrator. I haven't met one that has been unhelpful. They're all absolutely lovely. So just get in touch with them, and you never know, they might do classes and you can go and meet some other crafters. In the meantime, stick with me and I will share a fairly quick video with you. I like to just get to the point, not too much waffle. So with that, let me show you what we're going to make. I am just going to say that it was inspired by this, page 78 of the Stampin' Up catalogue. Hopefully you can see that. It's all about fishing, the Let's Go Fishing collection. You get stamps, you get dies, you get all sorts of bits. There's my latest stamp kit club. We've got this as our kit, and we're all getting together on the 16th just so we can have a good old play with it. One of the things you get is this. Well, you get the dies. So if I show you one of the dies, it looks like that, okay? And that looks like compartments. You know, us crafters got so much stash, we've got them stored all over the place in boxes. Well, that's what this makes here, but it's predominantly for the front of the card, and I thought, do you know what, I'd love to turn that into a box. So, ta-da! That's what I've done. So this was my first attempt. You can see it's a little fishing box. It's got an acetate lid. It lifts up. It's got two things, but I couldn't get it to stay closed. I needed a magnet close or a Velcro, and then you could see it. And yeah, I wasn't so happy with it. I was excited, but not ecstatic. And then I had another little play, and here's one for a crafter. So nice bright a pink colour, or I think it's berry delight. No, that's not right, because it's always the same. Berry burst, that's what it is. It looks like it's got 5 compartments, but it's actually got 2. But it's got this really handy magnet closure. Look, ta-da! So I'm going to show you how to make it. Now I've made it in card. You could use the inside, you could decorate with DSP, Designer Series paper instead, just to match in if you were making a card or something. That's up to you. I need to go back and fix this and make that a closing one as well. So you can see, you can put all sorts in it. The inside I've just put 2 compartments, just lined them up with these. But you could put more. I'm going to use this maybe for one of my stamp kit clubs, because I've put some die cuts in one side, some twine, and just some little bits and pieces. But equally you could put some nice sweets in there, anything really. The world is your oyster, or your imagination, just let it run riot. So you don't need too much stuff. You do need some card, obviously. I'm going to use, I've taken my inspiration from the paper. So specifically this sheet of paper, because I was going to do the inside with this paper. But actually I want the contents to stand out, so I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use the coloured card. But I'm using Pebbled Path card, which you can purchase from me in my online store. And what else am I going to use? Oh, some acetate. So I've got a little bit of acetate. For those that you are new to crafting, it's just like a plastic sheet. Some people do cut up their trays that they buy food in from the supermarket and use that. You can use all sorts of things. You can get special acetate for crafting, and that's what I've got. It's slightly thicker, so I'm going to use a piece of that, and a magnet. So I've got a teeny tiny magnet here. What size is it? Let me tell you. I think it's like 5 millimeters. It's actually a centimetre. Ooh, that's deceiving, isn't it? So it's 10 millimetres across. Now, they're really tiny, and I always get a bit worried about kids swallowing them. So I don't very often use them, but I'm using this one because it's inside the card and it's not accessible to anybody. So I'll show you how to put that in. A good tip for you with your magnets is just use one magnet at a time. So if you get these little washers, so I just went to our local hardware store or raided my husband's toolbox, and he's got loads of these little washers. Well, they work equally well with the magnet. So use one magnet and one washer, okay? Dragging your husband along to a hardware store is always a good thing. You never know what you're going to find there that you can use in your crafting. Honestly, it's like an Aladdin's cave. So you need a magnet and a tiny little washer, your card, some glue, some double-sided and some acetate. That is it. Exciting. Okay, so I did write down the sizes for you, and for all those that have been asking me to do metrics, specifically my friend Alison, this is for you because it's all in metric, it's in centimetres. Let me hear you cheer. Yeah. Okay, so we need a card base, and we're going to do some scoring on that, and then we're going to do the insert, and then we're going to do the acetate, and that is it. So let's craft. So let me put that to one side. So I've got a whole sheet of A4 to start with. Sorry, I just knocked the whole camera, so I'm hoping you can still see me. Still getting used to this new area that I work in. There's just never a good place, is there? I start off in my craft room and then I spread to the kitchen, and oh yeah, it's ridiculous. So our card base needs to be 22.7 centimetres. So get the longest side at the top, and it's 22.7 centimetres. I'm probably going to say centimetres a lot because I usually do inches, so I need to remind myself. There's a little bit there, you don't really need that for this. You're going to turn it around and you're going to cut it at 19.5 centimetres, like so. And again, there's a little bit, don't need for this project. Now, if you go back to the longer side again, so if you're unsure what that is, look at it along the top and look for the 22.7. You're going to do lots of scoring. So the first score line is 2.5 centimetres. So down the whole length, 2.5. Then at 5 centimetres. And then at 17.7. 17.7. This is where I suddenly go really quiet because I'm trying to concentrate on the sizes. And then the very last one is 20.2 centimetres. So 20.2 centimetres. Okay, and that's a score line as well. So you should have 2 score lines there and 2 score lines there. You turn it or rotate it to the shorter side. So this is the side that's 19.5. And you're going to do some more score lines. You're going to do 4 more. So 2.5 again. 2.5 centimetres. 5 centimetres. 14.5 centimetres, so 14.5, and then 17. Okay, exciting. So we've got all of our box marked out. Let's turn it into a box. So there's a couple of things I just want to say with this. I would use longer scissors. So I love my paper snips from Stampin' Up, but they're quite short here. I really wish they would do a bigger size scissor. So go and grab your bigger scissors because you're going to need them. Okay, just affirm all of your score lines, just so you can see where you're going to be cutting. You can of course do this on your paper trimmer. Some people find that easier. It does sometimes give you a straighter line, but it's knowing when to stop. You get carried away and do more than you need to. So what you end up with is 4 little squares in each corner. Okay, you can see this is going to be the base of your box and these are the sides. Now this is going to be a strong box because it may or may not have fish weights in it. So I want it to be a really strong box. So we're going to fold them in on themselves. But first we're going to do tabs for each corner. Now everyone does it different. So find what works for you. What I tend to do is start off in one corner and I go across the first score line. So I've cut out those 2 pieces there, okay, and then I go across the second score line again. So I've got 2 tabs there, okay, and I turn it ever so slightly so you can see it. I'm going to cut that piece off there, okay, so all I've done at the moment is cut that piece off, and then I'm going to cut it here, but rather than doing it on a score line, I'm doing it just past the score line. It will make your life easier. So not too much past, but can you see? I've just done that. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is shape this tab, because this has now become a tab. And I'm just going to cut into the corner, but at an edge, so I'm cutting like a triangle. So can you see that there? So I've cut that bit off there, and then I'm going to do the same on this edge. Just there. Now, I know it's a bit boring watching this, but some people are just at the beginning of their crafting journey, and it's important to show what you do. So I've got 2 little bits off of there that I've cut off, and it's left me with this tab. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Now what I'm going to do is turn my paper round, and I'm going to do the same again, exactly the same. So I go up that one, up the second line, and then cut it off there. Don't pull your card, always cut, because otherwise you end up with torn card. So cut that bit off there, and just there. So some people have asked me a couple of questions that I'm going to try and answer. So we've now got 1 tab there, 1 tab there, and we just turn it, and we're going to do that on the other 2 sides. So hopefully you've got that. I'm going to talk to you a little bit while we're doing it. So some people have asked me why I don't do live, why I pre-record my videos. What can I say? I work as well as do my crafting. I love my husband very much. I spend a lot of time doing my crafting and doing my videos and all the other things I like to do in life. And I just feel like if I did another thing that I went live at certain times in the evenings, it would eat into our life as well. And the best thing about Stampin' Up, about being a demonstrator, is I get to pick my hours. And so far this is working for me. I'm quite happy in my little crafty corner when my husband's at work, just talking to myself, fitting it in when I can. So that's why I don't do it live. I'm also quite camera shy. I don't mind my hands, although sometimes I do think I should go and get them done, like painted, but I'm not good with that. I love to get my hands mucky in the garden, and if I had to worry about my nails all the time, it just wouldn't be me. So that's why I don't do that. What else have I been asked? Oh, can I do metric sizes, which is what I'm doing today. Do I do PDFs? Again, because I work and I really, really love my job. What do? I work for the NHS, providing equipment for children who don't have a voice. So the easiest way to think of that is an app with on an iPad that talks for them. So I support them at schools and families getting to learn how to do that. So I absolutely love my job. I don't want to get rid of my job, but I love crafting as well. So hence my pre-recorded videos. So enough about me and enough of the waffle. So we're left with this. Okay, if I lay that down flat, you can see. So you've got a tab, but they're going in all different directions. Okay, now what we need to do is glue those in place. So eventually that's going to go like that and fold in, but let's do this together step by step. So the first thing I'm going to do is just fold back the outside edge, because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, and the tabs are what I'm concentrating on now. So I pick two tabs. I'm going to do this one and this one. I do two at a time just because it's easier. Put some glue on it, just on the tab. Okay, you don't put too much, but do cover the whole tab. Otherwise you'll have a yawning gap where your box meets together. Now this is a really new glue and it's not pouring out, so that's amazing. I thought I was going to end up with glue everywhere. So I've done this one and this one, and what I'm going to do is bring this side over. So I'm not touching the tab at the moment, it's there, but I'm going to bring this side here up to meet it, and I'm just squaring that off, just making sure it's square. So it's not overlapping, it's got a nice corner edge to it. And while I'm doing that, I'm pressing with these fingers and just making sure it's all in place. Okay, and I have a little look down, is there any gaps? If there is, I just press a bit harder in that place, and then I spin my box round and I do the next tab. It's already glued, so I don't have to worry about that. Do exactly the same. Bring the side up to meet the tab and then press from inside, and you get a nice crisp corner again. So I'm just going to hold that for a second or two. I use Tumbo glue because it's so quick, but you have a bit of wiggle room. Okay, now this one is a little bit trickier because I've got one down. So one tab is down there. Just put some glue on that. And this one is up here. So what I tend to do is roll it around, put some glue, I don't know if you can see that, on the tab, but while it's laying flat rather than up in the air. Okay. Oh, I just remembered something I didn't do. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So what we now do is just do this side. Okay. And then this side as well. So that is your box. It's a bit like a tray at the minute. I'm just going to make sure that that's fingered. Right, now before I do any glue, what I want to do is check that when I put these sides in, they go right down to the bottom and they're nice. They don't overlap, okay? So I'm going to put some glue and fold them in place. That one's perfect, goes in nice. This one is going to take a little bit of pressure to press it down flat. So there is an option, if you want to, if you think it's a little bit too tight, you can go along and just take the narrowest edge off of your box. And I am talking narrow. So can you see that tiny little edge? And now when I put that in, I don't have to force it, it just glues down. So I always tend to do that. Check my sizes just by going down inside the box. Oh, that one's staying down without any glue. And this one. Okay, and when you're really happy, then we're going to put some glue. But wait, okay? Remember that magnet? So one of these sides is going to be a magnet closure. So it doesn't matter at this stage what one. We get the magnet and we need it to stick on there, okay? So I'm going to get some double-sided tape and just put it on along the side. So let's just get a bit of that off. It can be way longer than the magnet, it's absolutely fine. I'm just putting it somewhere in the middle of the side. And just rub that really hard with my finger so that I know that that's stuck. Pull that up and stick the magnet in the middle of that. Okay, so that's not moving anywhere. Now what I'm going to do is put another piece of double-sided tape over the top, just so it holds it in place really. So that is going straight over the top, and I press it down to the other piece, okay, and then I peel that off as well, just like so. Okay, now I put some wet glue on. So if you're not a wet glue fan, just use your double-sided on the rest of the side. So I'm just putting it all over, all the way round, just by my double-sided tape, and then I'm going to fold that in and just press it in at the corners, and just make sure that that side is really pressed down flat. Okay, now you can use your bone folder. I don't think, oh, I bought mine, I've got this old one. You can go along the edge, you can do it with your fingers, but that's your side done. So this side doesn't need a magnet, it just needs glue. So we're just gluing that side down, just like that, and folding it over and just doing exactly the same, laying it on its side so you can really get into the corners and just make sure that that's all nice. And then the same on these two ends, and we will have our base box done, and it will be super strong. So that's going to go there. Just make sure that that goes in the corners. Just give it a chance to stick. And then the last one, you won't believe we're nearly there. Okay, so that's our base. Okay, done. Look at that. Okay, nice strong box. You could use that for lots of things, but let's get back to this. So the next thing that we need to do is do our insert, and our insert needs to be 14 centimetres by 12.8. So is it 14 centimetres? I've just doubted myself now. Oh, 12.5. Let me check. Because I think, yeah, it's 12.5 by 14.2. So 14, 1, 2, 14.2, 1, 2. So that measurement is slightly wrong on the paper that I showed you. So I will change that. 14.2, and that should be 12.5. Okay, so the insert should be 14.2 by 12.5. Right, sorry about that. You know how your brain suddenly kicks in? No, just me then. It's just taken me 20 minutes. And 12.5. There. Okay. So 12.5 by 14.2. On the 14.2 side, you need to score at 5.5. Okay, 5.5. 8 centimetres this is. And 10.5 centimetres. Okay, just like that. So you end up with these score lines. So fold it back that way, fold it back that way, fold it back that way. So you end up with that. Okay. Now I need to put some glue or some double-sided tape in here. So I'm going to do glue for quickness. That is going to go on there, just in that bit. And I'm going to fold it over and just flatten that bit down. Bend that bit back. And then this bit back. So you end up with a little mountain there, okay? If I bring my box back in, that is going to go in there, and that's my insert. Ta-da! Okay, easy as that. And it matches, so it's nice. Now for the lid. So the lid, we need a piece of acetate that is 12.5 by 12.5 centimetres. And on one of the sides, we are going to score it at 1.5 centimetres. So score at 1.5. Okay. And then a score again at 11 centimetres. Okay. So you end up with a piece of acetate with a score line either side. Now what you're going to do is bend the acetate. So hopefully your acetate is as strong as mine. If it's thin acetate, it might snap. So try and use a slightly thicker acetate, and you're just folding on the score line, like so. Like that. And this is so easy. It stops you having to make a hinge or a paper hinge or any sort of hinge. This is just perfect. So you end up with that shape, okay? So I'm just going to fold that back out flat again, and here's where that die comes in. So this die, I have die cut out of some pebbled path card, and if I take the background off, what happens is you end up with these pieces for the inside, so you can use them on a card front or a tag that can match. I haven't prettied these boxes up because I just wanted to show you how to do it, but what I have done is used adhesive sheet. Have I got one? So Stampin' Up! Do these adhesive sheets that peel apart, and actually they turn your dies into stickers, which is fantastic. Whoever invented that is just a miracle maker. So this actually now will stick to anything without me putting glue. So I've die cut it out. It's on the other pieces as well, so when I use them they're already stickers. Perfect. Now what we need to do is we need to lay this on top of here, but what I like to do is line up one side. So I like to get it that this little tab here is just ever so slightly on the fold, on the edge there, okay? So that's what I'm looking for when I'm lining it up. Now I'm going to whiz it round this way because it's easier for me to see. Peel off all of the stickiness. This is probably the most tricky bit. So if you need to have a breath, have a slurp of tea, eat a chocolate, give yourself a sugar rush, and then go for it. Okay, so my tab is on this side, and I'm going to try and hold it up a bit here, and I'm also going to try and line it. So ever so slightly over. Just line it on there, and then just let that drop and press it down. Okay, and that's it. How cool is that? Okay, so now bend that side over, like so. Bend this side over, and that naturally makes these hang over a little bit, which is great for the top of your box. So bring your box back in. Feel where your magnet is, because you want that on, well, left or right, whichever you want it on. And then decide, hang on, let's do that properly. So the magnet's going to be there, and then you need to have the narrower piece here, okay? So where these two compartments are here, that's where it's going to be. So when you lay this on, it's lined up, and it looks like it's made for it. Okay, now how do we stick this down? Really simple. The easiest thing I could think of to do was to use this side and just put some double-sided tape along it. Okay, so just going to cut that off there, and I am going to put that on there, just along there. So it's along the whole side. Peel it off. Okay, bend it in a bit again. Bring my box over, and this side is going to go inside there. Okay, so what I do is I bring that in, just make sure there's no stickiness hanging over, just fold it back. Bring it in. Now I'm not sticking it, I'm lining it up. So this bit goes, this acetate goes over, and this acetate goes in. So now, when I'm happy that this is in the right place, making this look far more complicated than it is, you just press it down a bit, open it out, and press the whole thing in, okay? Just like so. Just rub over it a few times until it's stuck. Bend it a few times so it knows what you want it to do. And then this one will come over on this side. Now when it's first new, it's quite good in that it stays, but after a while it will get loose. So it's best to put the magnet, because that's what happened to mine. So that bit comes up. Now where was that little washer? Okay, so we need that, and we need some of the Pebble Path paper, and all I did was cut out, or punched out in this case, a 1-inch circle. Yeah, 1-inch circle. I folded it in half, because that is going to go over there like so, and my magnet is there. Open it back out, and I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on there, or you could put some Tumbo glue, but I want the washer to stick, so I need to make sure that the washer has something to stick to, whereas if it's wet glue you're going to have to wait a bit. So that bit is just peeled off, and can you see it overhangs? But the great thing about double-sided tape is it will just roll over. Now you could use a glue dot, but is it as big as that? So that one is going to go there, like so. And then I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the other side, because I also want that to stick, like so. And again, I just peel it off like that, and then fold it over like so. And I'm just going to put, is that going to stick to me? I'm just going to put a little bit over that double-sided tape because I want that to stick to the acetate as well. So that's going over there, and then peel that off. Now this looks a bit messy, but you're not going to see it. It's on the inside, okay, like so. I think we're nearly there. Okay, fold it back where you wanted it and make sure there's no tape overhanging because you want it to look neat. Okay, yep, that looks good. So I am going to lay that in there like that. Lay that in there, and that makes my closure, and then that comes over there and it stays closed. Woohoo! Ta-da! How cool is that? So a little bit of card, a die, some acetate and a teeny tiny magnet, and you're there. Let me put this one back so you can see this in the flesh again. So I pulled the box out, didn't I, trying to get the size right. So you can glue this bit in, I just hadn't. Okay, I put those bits that side so you could see them in the bottom compartment. Put all my sprinkly bits in that side. Some twine in the top. I'm so excited for you to give this a go. Look at that. Ta-da! And then bring the fishing one back. That I need to sort out the magnet closure. But there you go. Perfect. The perfect multi-purpose gift box made by you. Thank you for watching. If you've loved this video and you've enjoyed crafting along with me, please subscribe, and you will, if you hit the bell, receive a notification when I post a video, which is usually every week. I would love you to come join my team or shop with me, but happy crafting, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.